You're listening to Video Villa Podcast, episode 31, Shrek 2, directed by Andrew Adamson, Kelly Ashberg, and Conrad Vernon. I didn't know any of those names before I did this, so there's that.
You did a good job. You did a good job.
And this is actually our first time ever doing an animated movie, so we were doing a little twist here.
Yeah, I thought we'd change it up a little bit, do a little bit of a family movie.
Yeah, we've done family movies, but this is our first, animated movie.
Yeah, this would be our first true family movie.
Ernest Scared Stupid is a family movie.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Yeah.
And a lot of the Christmas movies we did are family movies.
Yeah, but, no, well, because we've only just really,
National Lampoon's Christmas. This is a true kids movie.
Yeah, there you go. I guess you would say
we've
kids
done
movie.
Family movies, but we've never done a just straight up kids movie.
Yeah, definitely the Shrek franchise was always more geared towards adults, but kids also enjoyed it because there is a lot of adult humor in it and jokes only adults would get.
Oh, true, I guess.
And that's what kind of set Shrek different from all the other animated features that were coming out during the time. But, we were thinking about movies to do, and I was sitting there, I was like, well, there are some of the greatest sequels of all time, okay? You've got Godfather 2, Aliens, Empire Strikes Back, T2, Lord of the Rings 2 Towers, Spider-Man 2, and if Shrek 2 is not on your list as one of the best sequels of all time, you need to adjust your list.
What's T2?
T2, Terminator 2.
Oh. Is that just an abbreviation?
Everyone calls it, it's called...
Everyone, I've never heard anyone be like, yeah. You ever seen T2 with, it's not Arnold Schwarzenegger, but...
Says a lady who hasn't even seen the movie.
I've seen one.
I know, but the T2, everyone calls it T2.
Oh, it must not be cool. Not part of the cool kids. Cool kids club.
Well, anyway, what my point is if Shrek 2 isn't on your list of best sequels of all time, like I said, you need to change your list because we did not deserve a sequel this good. This movie.
When people say stuff like that, I'm like, what do you mean? No,
this movie is so good. The writing in this is on par. The action scenes are top notch, let alone being animated. It doesn't. You get to the end, the final act, and it doesn't even feel like it's an animated movie anymore. Yes, there's jokes, but there is stuff in there.
It just seems like it's real live action at that point.
I'm just saying. Yes, that's what I'm saying. We didn't deserve this. We don't this movie is so freaking good, better than it should have been. I'm being serious. The first one was good. Don't get me wrong, but we were not prepared for how good Shrek 2 is. And I knock on wood, whatever. This is
real wood. And we hike this bitch all the way up to our loft.
Yeah, this table weighs over 100 pounds. But yes,
glad that's over.
But yeah, this movie is hands down, I will definitely say, one of the best sequels. And I know y'all are like, why the hell are you saying this, Logan? It's a cartoon movie. If you haven't seen it, go back.
I think everyone has seen it.
If it's been a while since you've seen this movie, go back and rewatch it because I swear you will not be disappointed. It holds up. It hits just as hard as when I first watched it. I have a whole story about when I first saw this movie. It's like that. I don't know. It's just something I'll get into it once we start talking a little bit later.
I know you will.
But it's good. I'm sorry. It is.
Don't apologize. Everyone likes what they like.
Ever since we came up with the podcast, this has been on the list of ones I definitely wanted to do. I'm like, well, you got to talk about Shrek 2 because there's not a lot of people talking about Shrek 2. And then probably
everyone loves it.
I'm just saying, someone's probably going to show up there's going to be a video of all these Shrek 2 reviews, whatever. I'm saying I haven't seen it in my neck of the realm.
Yeah, I will say there has definitely been a huge influx of people talking about it, but I do know
well, people talk about the first one all the time.
I just meant in Shrek in general, in recent times, has seemed to make a resurgence.
Yeah,
Sierra and I were talking about that today.
Well, then this movie we get stuff. Okay, first off, at the time had some of the best animation that we had ever seen. Mind you, Shrek was different. all we had up to this point in 3D animation was Pixar stuff.
Yeah.
Nothing, and Andy don't look like a real boy. This is the first time we've seen stuff of people that are human and that had more features. I mean, Prince Charming's hair alone is very detailed in the animation. And even like when Donkey turns into the stallion, his hair, he looks like a real horse. There's certain aspects of how they shaded individuals. Like you can tell when they're in the swamp, it's a different time of day and the sun's beating down on them at a certain angle. Like the animation in this film was groundbreaking for the time, 2004, we're speaking of.
Yeah.
So, I mean, this was heavy stuff. And it wasn't coming from Pixar. That's the thing is, everyone just knew fucking Pixar at this time. They were the heavy hitters. And DreamWorks.
Lilo and Stitch Pixar?
No,
that should have been DreamWorks.
No, Lilo and Stitch is, that was 2D animation. And that was also, that was Disney. Pixar is a basic Disney, Pixar. They're the studios that make them underneath the Disney. Yeah. So, I mean, for us to have this company called DreamWorks coming out and first off, they knocked it out of the park with Shrek 1 and then Shrek 2 did gangbusters. I mean, the film was a huge success. Over $902 million worldwide. Almost $1 billion for an animated feature with, that's kind of got some crude humor in it and stuff like that. It's crazy to think about that. And this is back in, 2004. We're not.
I know you said it a lot.
We got Puss in Boots from this movie, which a whole nother franchise. I still haven't seen the third one. I don't know if it's the third one, but the last one. I don't know how many there are. But they said that one's really good. Like once again, it's like. It just shocked everybody how good that movie was.
Yeah.
We need to watch that. Maybe we'll watch it this weekend.
Sure. I'm just along for the ride.
Soundtrack went.
I will say the soundtrack in this one and one are just really great.
They know what to do. They know what the hell they're doing. And it's great because you're watching the movie. You're like, oh shit, that song's good.
Yeah.
Oh shit, that song's good. And the Shrek movies always do something different. They will have artists cover songs.
Yeah.
Like, Smash Mouth being on the first one.
Yeah.
And this one, we have the Bonnie Tyler song at the end of it. Obviously, it's covered by the actress who plays the fairy godmother. And it went platinum. I mean, when people still bought CDs and, when you used to look forward to buying soundtracks when a movie came out. If it was a good soundtrack, you went and bought the soundtrack. And the fact that this has, it's a collaboration of other songs on it. And songs that you just forgot about, like, for the Funky Town.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like when they show up and it's kind of like LA and there's, I want you to take me to sing it. No. Funky Town. Yeah, whatever.
That's on you. Every time.
But yeah, I mean, do you what is your first story with this movie? Do you have anything?
I don't even recall seeing it.
Oh, really? You don't remember when you saw it?
I'm sure I saw it. No, I don't remember seeing it.
Oh, all right. All right, well then.
I'm just not one of those people that just like file that away. Like, okay, I'm gonna store this for good. Well, the time that I saw the only movie I recall seeing was the Rugrats movie.
Oh yeah. That
and Lilo and Stitch.
Lilo and Stitch was good.
Now, granted, we went to the movies a lot. Like, there used to be movies right where, like, LA Fitness is and on Jumpers Hill Road.
There's a movie theater over
there? There used to be. They tore it down, yeah.
Oh, shit, I didn't know that. I knew there was a movie theater in Glen Burnie by Twilight Comics, but now it's Anne Arundel. But that was probably like 80s. I think but it was, where that parking garage is for the college? Where the kids' place is, the bounce house.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
That's not a parking garage.
Well, it's a giant parking garage now, but it's also associated maybe with the library or something.
There's no parking garage there.
Whatever. I don't know.
It's a giant building.
It's a giant whatever that giant building
with buildings inside of it. It's no cars.
There is a big garage attached to it. But anyway, whatever. I think it's the library or whatever. But whatever that is, that actually used to be a movie theater. I know that back in the day.
Yeah.
But like I said, that might have been 80s or something like that when they changed it up or whatever.
Yeah. But yeah, like we used to go to the movies and stuff like that. I just there were no like heavy hitters that I like truly, truly remember.
So when this movie came out, we didn't go see it in theater. and I can remember to this day, we were on vacation, and it was we went to we were staying in Kissimmee to go to Orlando and do the Disney tour or whatever we did, and back in the day. I'm assuming it's still the same way now. I haven't had a cable in like 10 fucking years. It's just all been streaming. But you would stay in your place and you had HBO, and HBO would run movies on a cycle. Sometimes it would say play the same movie 3 times throughout the day. And if it was a big movie, that was the big thing. It's like, oh, Friday night, Friday night we'll be premiering Shrek 2. And it would play it on 7 o'clock, probably at midnight. The next day, it'd play it like at 9 in the morning. Then it'd play it at like 2 in the afternoon. And then it'd play it at like 9 o'clock at night. Like that's how HBO used to do it. The big movie at the time, you would play it multiple times. So it was the first day we were there, whatever. And my dad's just laughing up a storm. I mean, he's just constantly laughing. And he's also vacation Chico.
Yeah.
So he's a little tipsy.
We're all a little different on vacation.
He's getting a little silly. And he's just laughing extra.
Yeah.
And the next day, because he don't like doing anything. He just wants to stay in bed, watch movies and rest. That's just how my dad does. That is my vacation dad. I get
that. When you like work a
my
job
dad's a blue
all
collar
week,
man, so he works very long hours.
Your vacation, you do want that to just be like laying around.
Yeah. So next day, once again, he's laughing and he just comes in. He's like, "You seen this Shrek 2 yet?" I'm like, No. And at the time, I saw the first one. I didn't really care to see the second one. I didn't think much of it. And he's like, "Oh man, this donkey's done turned into a stallion, and they got this cat. Well, what's called? I think he's played by the Antonio Banderas guy, whatever." And so like he kept on talking about it because he watched it one night.
Yeah.
They watched it the next day.
The reruns of it.
Yeah. He just kept on rewatching it. And so it was like, I think it was like maybe like Sunday. And I go in there, I'm like, all right, fine. Well, all right, I'll lay in bed and watch Shrek 2 with you or whatever. And I was shocked how good it was. It's so weird because it was so, I don't know, it was a good action adventure movie. The first Shrek movie had adventure in it, but this one was just, I don't know, man. Everything was hitting on point, and you really cared about the storyline. Like you wanted Shrek to have a good, happy ending and stuff like that. Like you really cared about him because you already saw him develop in the first movie, and you liked him, and then you see him develop again, and he's doing more things because the first one is all about him being selfish. Now he's thinking about someone else, and he wants someone. He's not. First, he's thinking about himself, but then he makes that flip. It's like, no, I need to think about other people, not just myself. And it's that, like, it's got a good message. I mean? That whole, like, some people think you're always going to be better off if you have this.
Yeah.
But what the point is to sit back and look at what you have now and realize you have everything you need.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. Kind of like he constantly thinking Fiona wants something else, that he can't give her because of X, Y, and Z. And he's just overlooking the fact that she's completely happy and satisfied how things are.
Yeah.
And she doesn't need all that kind of stuff. Really cool. Really, really sweet movie. I mean, there's parts of this movie that definitely just like, it brings a tear to my eye. I mean, I don't know why. Like, just enjoyment. All right.
For movies, it doesn't. For you.
I mean,
that's fine.
I cry a lot. Y'all know.
It'd be like that sometimes.
Only at movies, though. Only at movies for some reason. That's why. It's weird.
I don't know. I think it's because you're really into movies. You're really passionate about movies, so you really like get into them.
Yeah, and especially when it's a good. Y'all. I just keep on saying the fucking story here is amazing. It's so good. It, like I said, it didn't need to be that good. We didn't need it to go that hard and that heavy, and it went there, and it was awesome.
Yeah. See, I feel like my thing is I treat entertainment as all like surface level.
Yeah, probably.
Like, I don't really dig for, like, the meanings behind movies or
Oh, I'm not saying I'm that kind of person. I'm just saying.
It doesn't matter if you are. Like, that's fine. I just take all entertainment as just, like, surface level.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like this movie up here, like, you know how I like The Iron Giant.
Yes,
you know what I mean? And this movie.
That is a sweet movie.
That movie's sweet. This movie there's point and elements of The Iron Giant that I really enjoy. I get that exact same feeling in my gut from this movie.
Don't you also feel that way about WALL-E?
I really do enjoy Wally. I really love Wally.
I know you do.
It's
You also really love Iron Giant.
I do. Well, we just said that.
I know that. And Shrek too. You love a
Yeah, we
lot
need
of
to make
movies.
a list of all the things I like.
No,
This is a long-
we'll hit like when we hit our 100th episode, we'll do like what's it called? Like a montage.
I'll do a super cut
of all the clips of where you're like, I love this. I love this.
I just need to do a super cut of me saying fantastic and amazing because I think that's the only two words in my vocal
No, I
vocabulary.
love this, and this is my favorite. About 90% of our episodes so far.
But I mean, you know, we can get into it. I don't have the VHS for this one, but I have the 4 movie collection. Do you want to read the description on the back?
Oh, this has all of them?
Yeah, all 4 movies.
Don't bite me. It's almost bedtime. Shrek 2. With the help of his faithful steed Donkey, Shrek takes on a potion brewing fairy godmother, the pompous Prince Charming, and the farm ogre killer. Oh, the famed ogre killer. Puss in Boots, a ferocious feline foe who's really just a pussycat at heart. That's it. These summaries are chef's kiss. 2 sentences each for all 4. Oopsies. Do you want to kick off the movie?
Yeah, sure. So the movie starts off, and we basically get a fairy tale book opening up of a story of basically Fiona's life. We find out why she was sent to the castle because apparently when she was little, she had this problem where she would turn into ogre at night. So her family found a way to send her off to a castle, and the thought process was eventually her knight in shining armor would show up, give her true love's kiss, and then she would turn in. It would deter the curse, and she would basically become, you know, a human 24/7.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, from the first movie, we find out that doesn't happen. Shrek shows up and finds her and captures, and he ends up kissing her. That turns her into ogre
all the time.
All the time. Which she's completely okay with.
Yeah.
So it's funny. So we get this whole monologue from Prince Charming. And he's doing all the things he's supposed to, but you find out he's basically too late.
Yeah.
And the wolf from Little Red Riding Hood is in there.
I do like
I guess
that, how
house
it
sitting.
crosses over like different fairy tales and stuff like that.
Yeah. And they bring the characters from the last movie, they bring them back into this movie. So I like that aspect. The animation's pretty cool. And if y'all hear that, I'm sorry, my cat.
Our Puss in Boots.
Yes, our Puss in Boots is demanding attention right now, and we're not giving it.
Sure. The other one's sleeping somewhere. He gave up early on.
But yeah, so we find out he's too late. And there's like, well, where's Fiona? She's like, she's on her honeymoon. And then it cuts to the fun, like a little montage of their honeymoon moments. And it plays the Counting Crows, Accidentally in Love. Perfect song for this scenario.
Yeah, and they're on the beach and drinking their fancy drinks, and they're playing, making out on the beach, but then the water comes up and it's a mermaid, and then she like shot puts the mermaid back in the water. They do a lot of like comical things.
They go to Hansel Gretel's the house made out of candy or whatever. It's just it's basically just checking off all the different fairy tales.
Yeah.
And they end up making it back from their honeymoon, and at Shrek's house, the donkey's been house sitting, basically. He's been watering the plants as easily as you can tell. Like they've all died.
The donkey named Donkey.
Yeah, that's his name's Donkey.
You said the donkey. Just call him Donkey.
Oh, Donkey or whatever.
It's like cat or kitty. Named Kitty.
But yeah, so he's been, take care of the swamp. And then there's a funny little scene where he's like, I fed your fish. He goes, but they're taking naps right now. He's like, but you better wake your ass up.
Yeah.
But they're dead.
Yeah. Donkey's funny. I've always liked Donkey.
But yeah, so basically they want some alone time because they just got back. And obviously, as you can tell from the other movies.
Like alone time, y'all just got back from your honeymoon.
Well, but the thing is, Donkey lives with them.
I know.
You know what I mean?
I know.
But even though
Well, Donkey didn't live with them, but now he does because him and Dragon aren't doing too hot.
Yeah, because she's really moody, which we find out why she's moody later.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they're sitting there and he's basically asking for alone time. Shrek's asked alone time from Donkey and he's just not understanding. And then he basically kicks him out. And then this is when we find out that the army or I don't know, whatever you have it, people from
The King's Men.
the King's Men from far, far away, land far, far away, are showed up, and they would like Fiona and Shrek to pay them a visit and
Yes.
be anointing them at a giant ball.
Yeah.
To I guess
celebrate the new marriage.
Celebrate new marriage. Yeah.
Yeah. So they come and knock on the door, and then you get Donkey, Shrek, and Fiona traveling too far, far away, and you see them like go through the different seasons or like weather, and it's like far, far away, and then
700 miles away.
Yeah, and then far away.
300 miles.
Yeah, and then away, and you see like them getting to what's going to be like Hollywood essentially. And they arrive, and you get what looks like LA. So in the valley. So instead of like obviously the people that live there now, you have like Cinderella and
you see everyone's castle and stuff like that. It's very funny.
Yeah, and you see like the Starbucks and all like the very mainstream things at that time. But then they get there, and the king and queen are shocked.
Yeah.
See Fiona.
They didn't know
that she was an ogre.
In the daylight. They're not expecting this.
Because they left her in the castle thinking that the job would be done by the prince, and it wasn't. So they were expecting a princess to arrive, not a princess ogre. So they were taken off guard by that, but they tried to just like play it off and try to figure out like what happened here.
Yeah.
And then they did invite them, so they do offer to have dinner with them because that's what they came for. So, Fiona goes off to her room, and Fiona also mostly wanted Shrek to go to get her father's approval because at that time that meant something to her.
Yeah, and also Shrek, as we find throughout the movie, he doesn't like change. Okay, he's very adamant because think of it, he's been alone all his life. No one's ever wanted to be with the ogre, so that's how he's spent most of his life, and that's how he wants to continue, which is now with Fiona.
Yeah.
Now Fiona is not that way. She doesn't mind doing trips and so forth. She wants their family to be together and like a normal, father-in-law and mother-in-law relationship with said son-in-law.
Yeah.
Even though that Shrek doesn't have that.
Yeah. So then from the dinner, they're kind of like just poking and prodding to see like what all happened and just touch base after some time has passed. And Shrek kind of just like really doesn't want to be there anyway.
Yeah, so we get this tension scene where like they're both kind of low-key talking shit about each other right in front of each other while they're having dinner.
Yeah.
And it's just funny because then you also have the comedy from Donkey sitting there and just being clueless of what's going on. And it's funny. Eddie Murphy is perfect as the donkey. He does
Donkey's the equivalent to our 5-year-old.
Well, yeah, 100%. Well, no, that's like on the ride. Are we there yet? Are we there yet? No. Are we there yet?
And then just completely oblivious to everything else that's going.
It's like, they're like the same thing. Like you can tell my son Grayson, hey Grayson, we just need some quiet right now. We're on a long ride or something like. I just need some quiet. All right, I want to talk. So, but then he won't talk, but he'll start making noises. Yeah. And same thing like Donkey is like, all right, be quiet, Donkey, and he goes.
Yeah.
Well, he's technically not talking. You know what I mean? Like the comedy is perfect.
Yeah, all kids do it. And then now we get an introduction to the fairy godmother.
Yeah, so basically Shrek and her dad have made an ass out of themselves, and they've stormed off from the dinner table, and Fiona's went back to her room and so forth. And now Fiona does not remember her fairy godmother. She was around when she was little, but ever since she went to the castle, she doesn't remember. And she comes back and pays a visit. She was like, hey, what's going on? So, I've been away for a little bit, but I'm back to show you what all things I can bring to you. And the whole point is she is basically was setting up Prince Charming.
Yeah.
So he can be in the kingdom of far, far away.
Yeah.
And then we find out that like basically, the plan didn't go as organized, and that's why we got Shrek coming in and saving her early because the first movie from Lord Farquaad.
Yeah.
Which he normally wouldn't have done, but Lord Farquaad apparently really wanted her and so forth. So it's really well had they adding on to the story, and to make it to flesh it out and like,
Yeah.
make it go a little bit farther than we anticipated because we just
Yeah.
thought it was just, set in stone. Like, no. There's a whole backstory behind here you need to know about.
Yeah.
I like how they did it here, and we get a funny musical number where she turns everything into all the furniture into dancing stuff like that.
Yeah.
This movie's all about little musical numbers, which I do like, and they do it in a way that it's making fun of musicals, but it still is a musical number.
Yeah.
And it's for an adult, it's more tolerable if you don't like musicals.
Yeah, because you don't like musicals.
I know, I'm not a huge fan. Like, I like Disney movies. Like, I love Moana, and I don't like Frozen because that's too much singing. But I like, Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah, the originals.
Yeah. I mean, what else was good? What else was Pocahontas. That was a good one.
Pocahontas is such a good one. We should watch that.
I love Pocahontas.
I
That
have a
one's good.
VHS in my box that I just got.
That one was really good because they had some
I
really
went
good
scouring
songs.
through my grandmom's attic.
Yeah, you did pull out some bangers. Land Before
know.
Time. I didn't have that one.
Yes.
I don't think I have. If
We're
I do,
Back,
it'll be
which
over
is my favorite movie. And I mean that because I never say that.
there. She really likes We're Back, the dinosaur story, and I'm sorry if you rewatch it as adult, it's not a good movie. It's not.
I don't care.
Roll back the clock.
Yeah. And then also Goosebumps VHS, The Mask.
Yeah, the first one. Yeah, that one's good. But yeah, so we get some funny scenes of her interacting with the fairy godmother. And basically after, she dismissed and Shrek shows up, he's like, we're leaving here first thing in the morning. I'm done with this shit.
That's your dad.
Yeah, pretty much. and then so she goes and pays her dad, the king,
Yeah.
a little visit, and he was like, "Hey, you didn't fulfill your end of the bargain.
Yeah.
What's called my son was supposed to show up and then kiss her, and she was supposed to be prince of the
you essentially find out that Fiona's dad attempted to rig everything.
Exactly.
And it obviously all got rained on, like Logan had said. And the queen's thing is I did what I was supposed to do. So this falls on you.
Yeah. The fairy godmother. Yeah.
Oh yeah, sorry, not the queen.
Yeah. She's like, what's called, you need to make this right.
Yeah.
And there is some funny stuff like that. She's like, I can't believe you're going to make me do what I never want to do. And she's like, break my diet.
Yeah.
It's so stupid. I don't know. I still find it funny.
It's little things.
But yeah, the king his job is now
to get rid of Shrek.
He basically tells Shrek, he's like, hey, tomorrow I want you to meet me in this place. I kind of acted like an ass, not like myself, and Shrek agrees. I did the same thing, but I want you to meet me at this certain place, and we'll just hash everything out. He's like, all right, fresh start in the morning. And little do we know it, the kings went off to try to find someone to take care of Shrek. And it's a mysterious figure. We don't know who it is.
Yeah.
He finds him in the bar, and all we know is that he's a sword-wielding man that the only man around that can take care of an ogre. And
little do you know.
Little do we know. We'll find out soon. Do you know who it is? We'll find out.
I think it's obvious who it is. So while that's happening, Shrek actually reads Fiona's diary and gets his feelings hurt by it. Because at first Fiona did want a prince. That is the...
Well, yeah, she was little. I mean,
everybody has a fairy tale love story.
When I was little, I want to be a firefighter. I don't want to be a firefighter. Fuck that shit.
I love it. So in the stuff that I found in my grandma's attic, I found little diaries of mine and stuff. And I used to have little questionnaire diaries. And it's one of the questions was what would be a good date for you? And it was what type of guy? And I put he needs to be nice or he nice. Damn, that bar was real high.
Tell him about the note you wrote for your grandparents for Christmas.
Oh yeah. So I used to love writing people notes and writing in general. I used to really enjoy that.
I will say we're very fortunate because Becca she gets on to me for collecting stuff, and she never got rid of anything as her child. She has everything from her
not
childhood.
About me. My parents never did. My Graham never did. So clearly Graham didn't. But I'm very, very fortunate to come from a family that really found sentimental value in things and held on to things for a very, very long time on both my grandparents' parts. And I grew up in a family that recorded holidays on VHSs and family vacations on VHSs and things like that. Nonetheless, I also used to write like letters a lot and like little notes for like my mom, my dad, my like nanny, my pop, my gram. And for Christmas, I wrote my nanny a letter that pretty much like was like, "Dear Nanny, bring Christmas gifts." And then I drew like a bunch of little Christmas gifts. Love, Rebecca. And that was, I think that's all it said. It was something like that. Just very straightforward.
That's a very nice note to tell us. Like, hey, by the way, you know you're coming over.
I think I said,
Don't forget the gifts.
Yeah, I think I said, like, I want you to bring Christmas gifts. Love, Rebecca.
Because you have it, but it doesn't read exact. That's what the point was. But it was like, please bring.
Well, we'll put a picture of it in here. Yeah, I have it. It's on my phone. But yeah, and then same thing. Like I wrote a poem for my dad once, and I put like favorite dad nice feed apples, meaning like my dad would give us apples, and then something else with a D. But the thing is, like I was in first grade. This shit is like butchered. Nothing is spelled right. Not in any sequential order. Or like grammatical order or anything like that. So yes, I am very lucky to have those kind of things. I'll put the poem here too because it also has giant hearts written all over it. And then everything was always signed like "Love, Rebecca" in really big letters. I'm sure your mom has your stuff too in her attic. Don't feel bad.
I don't know. Like, we have some things like I have like the portraits and stuff like that. Like remember the shadow portraits when you were like a teacher? You put the projector and you draw the shadow
on the overhead thing.
Yeah. So I've got like stuff like that. Maybe a Christmas list that the teacher that year laminated. Kind of like what they do now. They turn it into like a placemat. I think we have that.
Oh yeah, like especially if you ever went to like a church preschool, like those Thanksgiving ones, like we have for
what you're thankful for, and then they'll laminate
I remember doing
it.
those as a kid too.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, so I don't even know how we got on that topic.
Well, you were telling a story. I was like, tell that one.
Yeah. Plug that one in. I have a plethora of those stories, embarrassing stories to share. Anyway, so Shrek reads the diary. That's how we got on that. Anyway, so reads the diary, gets his feelings hurt, and then kind of reverts back to his like old self where he's like, I'm out of here. Like I'm just gonna go. Like
well, yeah, he goes to the bar. He's very upset. And
the bars in these movies crack me up.
Well, they're like a tavern.
They're just like a old school bar. But
yeah, well, it's like
just like a dive bar.
Well, not like it's like it's like kind of like a bar. Like the way I can think of it is like if you ever play like Fable, it reminds me of the bars in Fable, which is a video game series. Very cool, like little like things, and there's Snow White and the. There's like dwarfs fighting and stuff like that.
Yeah, no, it's all the little fairy tales Froggy, are like sprinkled in.
A froggy princess and stuff like that. It's really funny. But so we lead up to the point where basically Shrek goes out in the woods and he's going to try to meet the king. Yeah. And this is when our soldier, if you will, the person who can defeat anybody, shows up. And who is it other than Puss in Boots?
Yeah.
Oh, it's great. This character, like, and mind you, like, this is cat mania. There was a time, because this is right when, like, Lowell's cats were coming out and stuff like that. And people were just scouring the internet for cat videos.
Yeah.
And there's the I Love Cats remix video where the girl crying I don't know if it was I think it was a dating video, but she just starts talking about how much she loves cats and she starts to break down crying about cats. So cats were in. People used to talk shit about cats for a long time, but this is when cats were cool. Everyone was like, dogs are cats. Dogs rule, cats rule. This was like different. This was the pendulum finally swinging.
Is that when boys went to Jupiter to get more stupider? Is it? Because that's what it sounds like.
I don't know, but that one's good.
You never heard that saying?
No.
Yeah, it's
boys went to Jupiter to get more stupider.
Yeah, it's like girls. Oh my gosh, I'll have to look it up. We'll type it out and post it in here.
But yeah, so basically, Shrek goes out and to try to meet, the dad. Puss in Boots instead, and then Puss in Boots is basically going to fight Shrek and but he gets interrupted by having a hairball,
Yeah.
and then it just completely basically defeats him by picking him up, and he's like, "What should we do?" And he does the little cat eyes.
Yeah, that's my favorite part. Every time he does that.
Yeah, it's
So
great. He
cute.
does it like I think twice in this movie. The Puss in Boots movie wasn't really that good.
Yeah, I don't really recall it.
And it just they kind of just milked a lot of it. Like that's why I'm like I said, I really want to see the third one. I think they made 3. I don't think it's 2. I think it's 3. But the latest one that came out like last year, they say it's really good, and everyone says like we were not expecting the movie that we got, and they also changed up the animation style a little bit, which I'm really happy that they finally like updated the animation.
Yeah.
Because that's one thing that these kind of movies can. Yes, like I said earlier, the animation was really good for the time, but it definitely doesn't look that great based off today's standards.
Yeah.
It's kind of like hard to look at. But I mean, after you start to watch the movie, after you're like 20 minutes in the movie, you stop caring.
Yeah.
But anywho, they defeat Puss in Boots, and he says like, "Here, I will give you my loyalty if you spare my life." And he's like, "All right, well, we need someone on this journey," and he's like, "Okay, well, you know what? I'm going to get down to the bottom of this." He's like, "I'm going to take this card that the fairy godmother gave me, and I'm going to go have a word with her or whatever."
Yeah.
And they basically get Donkey to cry by stepping on, like, Puss, like, kicks his foot or whatever. But it's funny because Shrek's trying to get someone to cry. He goes, think of something sad. He's like, "Well, there was that one time my owner tried to sell me for a bag of magic beans. That wasn't nice." he's just getting mad instead of getting like upset.
Yeah.
But yeah, the movie is full of that like very comical moments. Are like it's just classic Eddie Murphy. Same thing when he was Mushu on Mulan. It was just fucking great. Eddie Murphy does a great job in animated role.
Yeah. So while they are now making their trek to the fairy godmother, Fiona also finds out that Shrek read her diary, which upsets her, and now also leads her onto the fact that like Shrek's nowhere to be found. Like he's no longer at the castle.
Yeah, and she's very upset. She goes, I've got to do something about this.
Yeah.
This is who I used to be. I do not think of this anymore. I was a child then. Obviously, I'm an adult. My needs and wants have changed.
Yeah. So while that's going on and she's on the hunt for Shrek tries to find a way to make Fiona happy. So he heard of a potion that should do this, or he thinks the fairy godmother's going to have a potion that's going to give him a solution to make Fiona happy.
Yeah, and she just basically gives you a big F you when he shows up. He's like, "Listen here, ogres aren't meant to have a happy ending. Why have you never read of a happy ever after involving an ogre? Because it doesn't exist. You're not made to have a happy ending."
Yeah, and she pretty much like tells him to get out. So he takes it upon himself to steal a potion anyway. So they disguise themselves as one of the little potion factory workers.
Kind of like they remind me of like Oompa Loompas a little bit. Like some like little, like obviously there's somebody factory worker and they all look exactly the same. Like they're bred for the factory.
They're bred for the factory. That's weird. So they sneak into the potion room and they send Puss up to like this very high shelf to pretty much like weasel his way. He's gonna like screw a hole into the
it's
glass that's not big enough for the angled bottle. Yeah. So he's like trying to pry it open, and then they end up getting seen by the workers. And everything ends up crashing down. They almost lose the potion. This is like super chaotic.
This scene is awesome. It's action packed, and this is the part when you're watching the movie, and this is when things change. So far, now it's not a comedy movie anymore. Now you're on Shrek's side, and you want to see him succeed. You want Shrek to have a happy ever after.
Yeah.
You're at that point where like now your brain is switched. You're like, all right, come on, get it. Hurry up, get out of there. You're like you get anticipation on things going their way because that speech that the fairy godmother gave really was like, well, fuck you, bitch. No, you don't get to call the shots. I gotta have a happy ending if I want. And now you're like, no, go get it, Shrek. I mean, this is that turning, pivoting moment where like you start to realize like, all right, I'm really caring about this movie more than I should.
Yeah, you do. I didn't root for anybody.
You just like kicking my legs out, don't you?
No, I'm like, this is a good movie. And so now they need to try the potion because the whole point is like they want to make sure the potion works.
Yeah.
So there's kind of like a debate of like who's going to take the potion to make sure it works. Inevitably, both Shrek and Donkey try the potion.
Yeah, because they're kind of worried about like, well, what is it going to do to me? Is it poison? Like, even though it says "Happy Ever After" potion on the front of the bottle.
So they end up both becoming very handsome. So handsome for Donkey means that he becomes this like beautiful white stallion, and then Shrek. I threw myself off the way I just said stallion. That threw me through a loop. Anyways, and then Shrek becomes a prince.
Yeah, he comes very
the embodiment of a prince.
Very handsome, chiseled jaw, but also all the way at the castle. Same thing happens to Fiona. She turns back into a pretty
princess, lady. Yeah. So now the idea is Shrek needs to kiss Fiona at midnight for them to stay as they are, or no kiss can happen and they both can go back to ogres. The spell wears off. So Shrek does make his way back to Fiona / the castle, but not without a bajillion obstacles first.
Oh yeah, it's perfect because it's that classic. Don't worry. This movie, there's nothing really. Yes, I'm bragging about it. Storytelling wise, there's nothing super special about it. It's the same storylines that we've heard and seen multiple times. But now you're just invested in these characters.
It's their same fairy tale storyline.
Yeah, you're just investing in these characters because now these characters, they're being written in a different light. You know what I mean? Than what was depicted in the first movie. But it's like I said, it's a much more enjoyable storyline.
Yeah.
So yeah, Shrek shows up. Fairy godmother is tricking him, saying like, "Listen here, honey, you've been gone, and look how pretty she is now, and she doesn't want an ogre anymore. You know, she wants a good, handsome man." And then basically they're lying to Fiona, and Prince Charming is saying he's Shrek.
Yes.
So it's all a trickery, so to get him to leave, so they can
kiss at midnight at their little ceremony, and then essentially Prince Charming, the real Prince Charming, who's pretending to be Shrek, and Fiona can stay happily ever after as a prince and a princess.
Yeah, because she needs to drink a special other potion that her dad,
which her dad is supposed to give to her, but he ends up drinking it instead.
Yeah, well, we get to that point later.
Yeah.
But this is all setting up to basically have Shrek be depressed and just be like, you know what? I thought I knew Fiona. I guess I didn't. I guess back in the day, she really just wanted Prince Charming. She didn't want to be with an ogre, even though now he's not an ogre.
Yeah.
So he makes his way to the bar, and you know, he's depressed, kind of like
For a kids movie, there's a lot of drinking.
Yeah.
And getting drunk.
He basically is depressed, and he's just understanding like he doesn't feel right about everything.
Yeah.
And everyone's just trying to calm him down. And mind you, it's the same bar where not Prince Charming, but the king went to.
Yeah.
So little do we find out, while they're there, the king's also visiting to check up with the fairy godmother on how things are going and stuff like that. And they overhear that conversation, and they see from outside that, that was all a ploy.
Yeah.
She really doesn't. She thinks he's me.
Yeah.
And so that's at the point where he's like, oh, no shit. I got to get back there.
Yeah.
And so basically they take off.
And they pick up a gingerbread on the way.
No, this isn't that point. Yeah. So they take off, and they're rushing back to the castle, and they basically get picked up by cops.
Yeah.
It's called Knights.
Yeah.
That scene's hilarious, where it's like, that's a cool thing when you make these spoof movies and they play on modern day things. It's just funny, but like it says Knights. So they get arrested. Instead of getting pepper sprayed, he gets pepper.
Yeah. So cheesy.
So you understand why my dad loves this movie. My dad, by the way, I don't know if I made it clear earlier. My dad loves this movie. This is on top. Like, my dad has like his top 5 movies of all time. You got Garfield. I don't know why. Garfield. I have
a feeling these are all going to be cartoons.
No. Well, are they? No. Garfield.
Wait a second. Let me check.
I don't know why my dad likes Garfield so much. The one with Bill Murray, and it's an awful movie, but my dad loves it, so I'm not going to yuck his yum. And
that's mine.
I know that's your friend. He's got
Give it back.
Shrek 2, Nutty Professor. He loves Blazing Saddles. I love Blazing Saddles. I would love to do that movie, but I don't think we can. But I would love to do that movie. And then I think Dumb and Dumber. I think those, like, if you ask him, like,
Does he like the dog car?
well, yeah, well, he just loves that whole movie. It's got fart jokes and the diarrhea scene. Like,
does he like Along Came Polly?
he's probably seen it. Probably
That's a good poop scene.
Yeah. But anyway, get back to the movie. Yeah, so it's these funny little jokes that are just they're just perfect. They're like, it's like good spoof jokes and good spoof jokes. Yeah, they're quick laughs, but
Well, it's a bunch of like play on words jokes.
Yeah.
Like peppered spray, and I forget what else also happens in the police scene, but there's another thing that's similar. Like it's a play on words type thing. But yeah, you get a lot of that.
Yeah. So Shrek is arrested. Okay. And we're like, oh shit, he's not going to make it to the ball in time because the ball is they're going to have the ball, which is what originally they were planning. But now Prince Charming is being Shrek. So he's going to show up to the ball and as Shrek, and he's going to kiss her, and she's going to give him the potion. Everything's going to be right as rain. Well, at the swamp crew, who's house sitting for him, with Pinocchio, the three little pigs, the blind mice, and the wolf, they're watching TV and they're watching Nights.
Yeah.
And they see that there's like, that sounds like Shrek, and that looks like, that's not Donkey, but that sounds like Shrek. And they realize, oh no, Shrek's been arrested. They're like, oh, we got to go save him.
Yeah.
And then so we get another funny movie where it's playing on movies. It plays on Mission Impossible. You get Pinocchio falling down, just like Mission Impossible with Tom Cruise. And he ends up, tell me a lie. And like, it's just, I don't know. It's hilarious.
About women's underwear. Yeah.
Yeah. He's like, I'm not wearing women's underwear. He's like, what? He's like, wait, he's like, it's like, no, I'm not wearing a women's thong or something like that.
Yeah.
And he's like, what color is it? I don't know. I'm not wearing it. He's like, it's pink. Really funny.
Yeah.
Just dumb jokes, but funny and effective. And so they end up breaking him out. So we got Puss, we got Donkey, or you call him Stallion, baby, because that's what he changed his name to. And then you got Shrek, and they're like, well, how are we going to get there in time? And you got the Gingerbread Man, which is probably one of the fan favorites from the first one. And he's sitting there, Shrek goes to him, he's like, are you still friends with the Muffin Man? Yeah, the Muffin Man. The Muffin Man that lives on Drury Lane?
Yeah.
Yes, the Muffin Man that lives on Drury Lane. He's like, we're going to have to pay a visit to the Muffin Man. And this is cool because in this movie, we get a giant kaiju gingerbread cookie. I don't know. It's great. These scenes are great.
Yeah, and essentially the giant gingerbread cookie is what's going to get them to the castle faster because it's a giant gingerbread cookie, bigger than life.
Yeah, it can travel at farther speed. I mean,
so
farther distance because how large it is.
They get to the gates and they're trying to break in, and they are getting attacked by the guards.
Yeah.
And they're trying to like pry the gate open, essentially.
This scene is awesome. This scene is so cool because you want them to get in.
Yeah.
And it's so funny because, how do we get rid of the gingerbread cookie? We'll throw, instead of boiling tar like back in the olden ages, it's milk.
Yeah.
Because he's a cookie.
Yeah, boiling milk. So, unfortunately, the giant gingerbread, he gets Shrek in by like prying the door open with his arm, and his arms break off, and then he falls into the trench around the castle.
Oh, and you get this scene where they hit him with the cannonballs of fire or whatever, and he drops the gumdrop button.
Yeah.
And he's like, not the gumdrop button. And then it like roars like Godzilla. It's all, God, like I said, I took a timestamp, okay? So this movie, all right, at 1 hour and 11 minutes, okay?
111.
This is what, if you haven't seen this movie in a while, it's okay. You can skip all the rest of the movie. Go to this and just watch it, okay? 1 hour and 11 minutes. Play from there and watch the rest of it. Tell me. You come back. You come in the comments and tell me that this movie.
Not that he sounds like Theo Von. Okay.
Yeah.
If you're gonna say anything in the comments, we got it. Okay.
Everything like freaking Instagram,
Everything.
YouTube, freaking TikTok. You sound like Theo Von.
Thanks.
I don't think
obvious.
I don't think I sound like him. You said I sound a little bit like him.
Yeah.
I don't think I do. I don't see it, but
that's because you're you. Like, if someone says
I'm
something
not offended. Don't get me wrong. I'm not offended. I just don't think I sound like it.
Oh, yeah. Theo Von, be offended. You think he cares?
No, I'm just saying, I'm not saying I'm like upset.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, because people say it.
But no, I mean, even if like you told me like, Becca, you sound like this person, you look like this person, you're always going to say no because you are who you are. You don't see yourself
There's
being
nothing
like
worse than
anyone
someone
else.
saying like, hey, you look like this. And you look at that person, you're like, Jesus.
Yikes,
I hope I don't, I hope I don't look like
I hope
that.
you're lying.
Holy shit.
Yeah, I get that.
I need to
I mean,
I get where life adjustments
I get where you're coming from with that, but
yeah, go to this point. 1 hour, 11 minutes, and just watch for the rest of the movie. Okay, y'all.
That's all you need.
I'm telling you right now. I'll tell you right now. You thought Endgame was good. I'm telling you this.
You're really going to compare the two?
I am. Watch this. And once it gets to the scene we're going to discuss in a few minutes, tell me it's not like, tell me the Russo brothers didn't take something from Shrek 2 and put it in Endgame. Tell me. I'm waiting.
Don't hold your breath. But yeah, so Shrek busts in and the whole crew is essentially helping him get in there.
And this is when we get the iconic song, too.
Yes.
I want to make sure we include that because this is
I'll just let you tell this scene.
Oh, no.
No, you really like this scene, so.
But like.
Eat it up.
So, all right. So the iconic song, Bonnie Tyler's, I Need a Hero, or it's, I don't think it's called I Need a Hero, but like people call it that one, which is a great song. I mean, it's, Bonnie Tyler, Total Eclipse of the Heart, like she made some freaking bangers. And this song, it's one of the best. I mean, I feel like if you put a top 100 songs of all time, this is definitely in the top 100 songs of all time. I mean, it's perfect. I mean, the music's great, everything. And it's obviously being re-sung by the lady who's playing
the fairy
godmother. But it's just, I don't know. It's like it plays so perfectly with the action scenes of Shrek getting closer and closer and closer, and them defeating the guards. And then at one point they're not going to make it. And then Puss
jumps off and he's going to take care of them.
It's so
and
cool.
Ultimately he just gives them the puppy dog eyes.
He gives them puppy dog eyes, but that throws them off their guard, and then he attacks them.
Yeah.
It's so cool. I mean, it's so...
That's our cat, Elvira.
It's so...
She's like, I am so cute. Fuck you, kitty.
Well, that's our cat, Elvira. She'll definitely give you the puppy dog eyes in the cat version and stuff like that. But like, I don't know, like, but if you irritate her in any way, shape, or form, you know what I mean? She's like, oh, you're dead to me.
Oh, yeah. I just like fucking with her.
Yeah. She's like, I don't know why. You're like, the same outcome happens every single time. You're like, I don't care.
Yeah, it doesn't bother me. It doesn't hurt.
I know. But anyway, okay, so that scene's awesome with Puss in Boots. And basically, Shrek shows up. Listen here, get away from my wife. It's awesome. And it's like,
but then that also clicks in Fiona's mind that like, wait a second, you aren't Shrek. And also, like, Shrek now looks like this.
Yeah, and then that's when she's like, kiss her, Prince Charming. And he kisses her. And then that's when we find out, oh, it looks like someone took the wrong potion.
Yeah. Because her dad had a change of heart. And he drank the potion instead. Yeah,
and so, and there's some, early in the movie, we got like, hey, not everyone has a happy ending. Isn't that right, Gerald? Whatever. And so we were like, okay, well, what did you do in the past so you had a happy ending?
Yeah.
We find that out a little bit in a few minutes. We'll find out what the king actually did. But yeah, so we get this epic scene where they need to get the wand away from the
fairy godmother.
From the fairy godmother. Hint, hint, Endgame and the gauntlet. Tell me the Russo brothers didn't take a page from this book. It's just, they play keep away. And it gets to the very end, and you think that she's won, but she hasn't won. I'm telling you, it's literally Endgame. Yes, Endgame hits a little bit harder, but I'm just saying this movie
Meaning Endgame's like a completely different movie.
It is a completely different movie, but I'm saying that the ending scene in Endgame and Shrek 2 are very similar, and I'm sure there's some people out there that would agree with me.
There's always conspiracy theories out there.
I don't think it's like
Well, yeah, with movies, when people say like things were cross-referenced.
No, yeah,
and
I'm
stuff
not
like
saying
that,
I'm just joking around like saying they ripped it off, but I'm just saying it's a little suspicious that they're
I'm
very.
not saying, but I'm just saying.
Girl, I'm not gonna do it.
Yeah, I was thinking about it.
But yeah, so yeah, they're basically keep away from the wand, and basically at the end, she ends up getting it back, and she goes to do Shrek and make sure he doesn't have a happy ending.
Yeah.
And then the king sacrifices himself, and it bounces off of him, hits the fairy godmother. She turns to bubbles, and she is no more.
Yeah.
Just like Thanos was no more after Iron Man made this snap. Anywho, I'm beating a dead horse here. I'll stop. But yeah, so everything, everybody is safe, but they're like, oh no, what happened? What happened to my dad?
Yeah, the king.
You find out
He's a frog.
He's a frog. And that's how he became king, because of the fairy godmother.
Yeah.
Which is kind of cool. I like that. I thought that was interesting.
And then him and the queen have accepted that's okay if that's what their life's going to be, because now Fiona gets the life that she really wanted, which is to go back to being an ogre.
And that was the whole point. That was like, he was judging Shrek so much, with deep down he
throwing
was nothing
rocks
but
in glass houses.
he was nothing but a toad.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. He was nothing but a frog himself. You know what I mean. While shitting on an ogre, when like y'all are in the same swamp.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Very good. Anyway,
it's a good wholesome movie.
We get a conclusion, and it cuts to credits, and then it comes back from credits after everyone being happy, and you find out why Dragon was being so moody.
Yeah,
she was pregnant.
Yeah,
and had dragon donkey.
That's where these movies become to reach a little further than I can do.
Oh, it's kind of like do you remember Lady and the Tramp?
Yeah.
When at the end of the movie, but like
I don't remember the end.
Well, that she has puppies, and there's like tramp puppies and lady
you know
puppies.
What movie I really the movie I really want to see now, Aristocats.
Oh, I haven't seen that forever.
Yeah, I feel like I remember it being good. I feel like
it's not going to be that great now that as an adult, just because
I'll take my chances.
I don't know, just because I don't remember a crazy amount of it, but I do like it. I did like it, but it's not like I remember something like Rescuers Down Under. Like that movie was fantastic.
Oh, I have that downstairs, the VHS.
Rescuers Down Under?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
It's in the box.
That one's good.
Thanks for joining our conversation. But yeah, so Shrek is a really good movie. We are collecting more VHSs like this, or these kind of movies now that I've dug through my closet or my grandma's attic.
I had the Shrek VHS growing up, and it was weird because it came in a weird box. It was a big box, but it was like no one was making big boxes at the time. Like at my Dirty Dozen over there is a big box. I don't think I have any big boxes over here. But it was weird. It's like it wasn't a clamshell, but it was the weirdest box that it was made out of. I don't know why they did that. But I remember I got it for Christmas. And then this movie, I like I said, this movie, it's when you think about sequels, yes, I'll say it again. It is probably, I do really do. Even though I'm making jokes and so forth like that. Yes, I do. And I also do think that this movie is good.
That was a good one.
See, the thing is, in our household, Jack is...
Yeah? You want to try that again?
Becca is usually the quick-witted one, and she's really good with the jokes, as y'all can tell probably on the show. But every now and then I'll sneak one by her and be like, I got you.
He's got them too. But yeah, so I really like Shrek since I've been restricted to sharing my opinions until the end.
Well, I knew you
I wonder what
this
got me there.
People are like, well,
maybe I am the problem.
It was with Big Trouble Little China, one listener was like, all she did was just shit on the movie for the whole movie.
Oh, really? I didn't know people actually share their opinion. Well, if you did, I didn't listen, so. We post these things and I ride blind.
But yeah, Yeah, it's a good movie, and I was going to do that because I already knew you liked it. Because you were like when I brought it up, I was like, oh, you were like, oh yeah, that's a good movie. Let's do
Yeah.
that one.
I like a lot of the DreamWorks movies
Yeah, I
and
mean
Pixar
they've gotten
movies.
better. Like the Minion movies have been really popular.
I did stop watching them after a certain point. So, like, I've never really seen the Minion movies besides, like, bits and pieces.
Yeah,
Like, a lot of the more recent ones, I just haven't
Despicable Me
seen.
was
Yeah, same.
well the last one Grayson's watched that a lot because he had a
Yeah.
fart gun and Grayson
Yeah.
just thought that was hilarious.
Yeah.
I think he has a cheese ray where it just
Yeah.
shoots I don't know because it's him as a child,
And then
so things are
Cloudy with
really
a Chance of
childish.
Meatballs. Is it DreamWorks?
Yeah.
Yeah. That
Oh,
one's a
that
good
movie's
one.
fantastic.
Yeah. And Up.
That's
No,
Pixar.
Pixar. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, there's a lot of good ones out there. But yeah, so I like this movie. That's my opinion. I could have shared that in the beginning, but let's wait. But yeah, and then we do have some events coming up that we will post as they come. You'll probably see this afterwards, but at Monster Mania, New Jersey. But if you are missing that, don't worry because there are plenty others to come throughout the course of the year. This is just the first one for 2024. And if you are local to New Jersey, definitely check out Past to Present in New Jersey. It's a really, really great vintage shop where I actually got this shirt, my little Philly Flyers shirt, my nice oversized shirt. And they have a bunch of cool Phillies items. As well as all kinds of stuff. You found stuff there that you like too.
It's a modern day vintage shop. Like and when I say modern day vintage, like we're talking about like 90s style, vintage.
Yeah,
clothing.
they have stuff from like bands, some like rap artists, Disney stuff, sports memorabilia, all types of shit. So if you're in that area, definitely check them out. I always find some like little golden nuggets while I'm there, and it's always so fun. And then we also have some events coming up in April that we will bring up probably like next episode. And then yeah.
Yeah, that's that's the tapes tapes from the crypt that's where I got my hoodie from, my Beetlejuice hoodie, my Beetlejuice cartoon hoodie.
And you have a few other ones, I think.
Yeah, I got the Kindergarten Cop and then the Under Wraps.
Yeah.
One.
But yeah, so thank you guys for listening. As always, don't forget to like, subscribe, follow, and give us a review or a comment if you feel so inclined. We appreciate it. But yeah, as always, again, thank you guys for listening, and we will see you next episode.